Hi there. My name is Holly, and welcome to my little corner of the internet that's about this big. Actually, probably a little smaller. And today I wanted to do my tarot and oracle collection. These are some of my favorite videos to watch. So I thought, why not jump on the bandwagon and show my collection? It's not as large as some creators, and it's not as small as your average collector, I'm assuming. It's about 24 decks, so it'll be probably a little bit of a long video, so if you want to stick around, that'd be great. It's great to have you. So I'm going to start with my tarot, and then I'll fade into my oracle, and then I have some miscellaneous things to show as well. And I think it'll be fun. So I'm just to preface my little journey really quickly before I start. I've been reading and collecting for about 10 years now, so not super, super long. It's one of my favorite hobbies. I connect with it a lot, immensely, actually. It's one of the things that I'm consistently always trying to learn more about. So, yeah, that's a little bit about my journey. I'm sure I'll share more stories with decks as I go along. So, yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first deck, which is going to be no surprise here. It is the Rider Waite. This was my very first deck, so I figured it'd be appropriate to start with it. I don't have much to say, unfortunately, because I never really truly connected with this deck. It wasn't until I got the very next deck that I'm going to show was when this whole journey kind of exploded for me. This definitely helped me learn the meanings of the cards um, through the imagery, since it's more self-explanatory. But I'll have more to say about the other ones. I mean, you can't go wrong with this, obviously, since it is a classic. I mean, you know, and they're beautiful images. They really are, but I don't pick it up too often. However, I do have a soft spot for it because it was my first deck. Okay, so the second deck is the Tarot Familiars. This is the first deck that I truly, truly had such an incredible connection with. I hadn't even been aware that one could have a connection with a deck because I started out with the Rider Waite Smith, and I didn't have, while I enjoyed giving readings and they were accurate, I didn't feel a pull towards them. This deck, however, showed me that that's very, very possible. So this is the backs. Um, the reason why I actually wanted this deck was, and this is to get a little sentimental, but what is a tarot collection journey without a little bit of your lore woven in? Um, So in November of 2021, my fur baby, who I'd had since I was 15, she passed. And she looked just like this. And it was shortly after she passed, I was walking around Barnes and Noble with my husband, and I came across this deck. I looked up a couple of cards on my phone and instantly fell in love with it. And then it was under the Christmas tree a month later. So it it looks just like her. So sweet. I'm going to put that to the side actually and just show you a little bit. I love the palette of this deck also. It fits my aesthetic completely. I mean, I love that instead of the cups being blue, they're green, and the swords are like more of a purple. I love the major arcana in this. There's all different animals. It's not just cats. And I love it so much. I feel such a pull to it. It's given me harsh readings, it's given me soft, gentle readings. It's just such a wonderful deck. I love it so much. I can't say enough good things about it, to be honest with you. I love that the pentacles are blue also instead of like a green or a brown to um, sort of encapsulate the elements of the suits. I love the judgment card so much. But that is the Tarot Familiars deck. Again, it's one of my favorites. I can't say enough good things about it. It definitely has kind of like a whimsigoth kind of charmed aesthetic to it, doesn't it? Okay, so my next deck, I'm going to piggyback off of that story a little bit with that deck. So this is the Tarot of Pagan Cats. And just like the other one, my fur baby, my passed on fur baby, sort of threw this deck at me. So let me look for it first so I can get that little story out of the way before I do a flip through. Okay, so in all tarot decks, I use my card Significator. I am the Queen of Swords in every deck. Whenever that pops out, I know that that's either talking about me or that I need to, me specifically, I need to bring more logic into a situation. Um, and this is exactly what my little girl Sid, this is exactly what she looked like. She was a tabby and she had more angular features. She was small no matter what. And this is exactly what she looked like. And I always said that when she passed on, I always envisioned her in a field of wildflowers. And whenever she would visit me, I asked her before she went if she could come back as a yellow butterfly. That being said, this is my most used deck. I have only had this about a year now, and it is definitely my most used deck. However, I've never encountered a deck that has such a palpable and moody energy to it. It is truly, truly, truly the tangible embodiment of a house cat. This deck is moody. It doesn't like to be asked twice. It wants nothing to do with you at times, and then it wants everything to do with you at other times. It's always on its own terms. But that is exactly what I love about it. And that's why I think I gravitate towards it the most, is because not only is it going to be harsh and have a bite to it, but it is also going to be so soft and so gentle and so caring. And I like that dichotomy versus having a deck that is always so kind and more gentle with answers and ego checks versus one that is purely just harsh all the time. So that's why I love this one. I've talked a little bit too much about this deck, unfortunately, so I am going to have to move on. But this is amazing. I love it so much. It's, like I said, it's my most used deck purely for the reason alone that this energy cannot be matched at all. All right, so this next one is a pocket deck, actually. This is the Orion's Animal Tarot. Um, this is a gorgeous deck. Look at the backs. The backs alone, I mean, the colors are just so, my lighting is awful, so I'm so sorry, but they're so gorgeous. And then there's also a silver holographic gilded edge. So we have the Magician starting. I'll just flip through these while I tell you a little bit about it. All of the animals that are on the cards obviously are going to have some sort of symbolism with the meanings of the cards. So in the guidebook, it tells why this specific animal is picked, but purely just the imagery, the artwork, the colors just pop off the cards. It's insane. I think it's so interesting also that there's only these, like a couple of these golden cards, and not all of them are wands. I know the sun is also this gold. I mean, I just can't get over like the artwork. I just I love this deck. This is definitely another one that I bring out quite often. I like to use this one more with others, not necessarily myself. Whereas the previous deck, the Tarot of Pagan Cats, I like to use that a lot more for myself. Um, Look at that. Oh my gosh. I can't get over. Oh, this is one of my favorite cards in the deck. And the Quokkas for the Three of Cups because they're so friendly. It's so cute. Oh my god. I can't help but just always feel just a surge of just excitement when I do use these. But yeah, I really like these. I also really like the size. I know it doesn't look it, but I actually have quite small hands, and pocket editions fit perfectly in my hands without any issue whatsoever. So I really do, I think I gravitate towards these not just because of how gorgeous the artwork is, but also the size. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. The next one, as I was just talking about size, the Tattoo Tarot. This is, in all purposes, my dream deck. I am a sucker for traditional tattoos, as that is the only thing I'm tattooed in. And this is a gorgeous deck. I mean, even the backs. Look at the. I just can't get over it. However, they are thick Watusis. You can't even see my hand. I I love this deck. I love the colors. It's the traditional palette, so it's the olive green, the red, the gold. I mean, the colors, the lines, the crisp. It's beautiful. Oh my god, look at that. I mean, I love this deck. I can't use it though. It is too large for my little hands. And I know that they did come out with a pocket version of this. And yes, I will be getting it. I've had this deck for probably, when did it come out? I think 5 years ago, 6 years ago. When was it? 2019. Okay. So 6 years ago. I've had this deck for about 6 years, and I've barely gotten to use it because I simply cannot even hold it. But I do use it. It doesn't go to waste. It doesn't just sit there. I do use it on my altar. So I use the cards for spell work. I use it for offerings, whatever the cards symbolize what I need it to. I usually use them as like a placeholder of that instead, as in place of like sigils. So they aren't going to waste. And they do add that little pop of color on my altar. Well, there's more pops of color, but they add that pizzazz, that life to it, you know? God, I wish I could use these. I'm just looking at the imagery, you know, and even just that, like that is the width of most normal tarot decks, maybe a little bit more like this. Yeah, that's the width of a normal one. Then you add that in. That's a lot, buddy. That's a lot. That is the Tattoo Tarot. Let's move on. So this next deck, I haven't been able to actually use too often yet. So this is the Tarot of Tales and Legends. It's a low Scarabo deck, and you probably see where I'm going with this already. I have two complaints about this. I got this deck because I love everything Arthurian. I love the story of Camelot. I love King Arthur. I love Morgan Le Fay. I love everything about that. It's one of the original fantasies. You know, I love it so much. So of course I'm going to get something that sort of emulates that sort of thing without getting the Arthurian tarot, as I'm not a big fan of that one actually. So my biggest complaint is some of the artwork, it is pre-Raphaelite. It is too fuzzy. It's not crystal clear. Some of them are very bold and crystal clear. And my second complaint already is hitting me. So Los Scarabo has that ink smell, and unfortunately, it hurts my throat. It burns my throat. I sound like such a whiny little weenie, but I have never had that problem with any of my other low Scarabo decks. Um, this deck just specifically, I no matter how long I leave it out of the box, no matter how much I stick it by incense or wax burning or a candle or put it in another room, it doesn't, it just won't give up that smell. But yeah, I wish I did a little more research on this deck before I got it because then I could have seen, that some of the imagery just isn't exactly what I was looking for. It's gorgeous. I mean, there are some cards in this deck that I'm just gobsmacked by, but then there are others that I'm so disappointed by. Um, but I noticed that, there are other decks in my collection that I don't connect with immediately, and then over time I start to grow a connection with. So this might be one of those cases where I don't immediately love it. I've had it for maybe 6 months now. I don't immediately love it, but I think once the smell goes away and I sit with it a little bit longer, I think I'll have a little bit more of a pleasant time with it. So my last tarot deck is actually going to be my newest, and it should come as no surprise as with my other couple decks. It's the Cat Tarot. This is so cute. I love this deck purely for the whimsical energy it gives off in general. I mean, it's so sweet. While my let me grab it again. While my Tarot of Pagan Cats is more of the moodier, sort of sharper energy of a house cat, this is just a big old fur ball. A cutesy little soft, sweet baby fur ball. Um, I don't think this deck could be mean to me if it tried. It's so sweet. It's so gentle and so kind. I mean, I'm such a crazy cat lady, so of course I'm gushing already looking through this, but it is the cutest deck, and I can't wait to play with it more. I've only had it probably maybe 2 weeks now. It really is just so sweet. I love that so much. I think that's so funny. I think the artist did such a great job capturing the goofy essence of cats. While they're intelligent creatures, they're also just so silly. I love it so much. I don't have as much to say, unfortunately, like I said, because I haven't had it as long, but it really is so cute. So that actually wraps up my tarot. Now we're going to be moving on to the oracle, and this is where if you haven't already gotten sick of my voice, you will soon because there is 17, I think. I don't know, about 17 decks here. So let's get started. First one, I will do my first oracle deck. So this doesn't really jive with me spiritually anymore. But this is almost 10 years ago that I got this. So I am in a very different place than I was when I first started my journey. These are gorgeous. I'll never get rid of them. But I don't really jive with Doreen Virtue anyway. These are giving me very 2000s Bible camp kind of energy, which is fine. Which is fine if that's what you're into. Um, and these really did do the job for me for a long time, and I think that's another reason why I never want to get rid of them because they really did go with me through a lot of different walks of life. But like I said, they just don't jive with me anymore, and that's okay. Like I said, I'm never going to get rid of these because they were my first oracle deck. but I happen to be fortunate enough to come across other decks that sing to me in different ways that these never really could. So nice and quick. Let's move on to the next ones. The next one is the musical oracles, or music oracles. I apologize. Um, I've had this one for maybe about 6 years also. This is one that I haven't been able to connect with very much. I don't know if it's maybe perhaps because I'm not a musician. I happen to love and appreciate music completely. However, the guidebook only goes into like an excerpt of the artists, not necessarily what the cards mean. I think that that's one of the reasons why I wasn't a big fan. Another one is just what the cards say. Um, I'll grab John Cage for a second. So don't fall in love with your first idea. Surrender to chance. All great art contains at its center contemplation. I've got John Lennon. Not everything you see is a mirage. Not everything you hear is a lie. If you enjoy wasting time, then it isn't wasted. Peace is the only thing worth hoping for. Some of them really do hit, and some of them just really do not. So I haven't had too much luck with this deck. Maybe I need to just really, oh, I love that one. Maybe I just really need to give it even a better shot, even though it's I've had it in my collection for 5 years. But as I was saying previously, sometimes it just takes a while for you to really get into the groove of something in a deck. And since I have so many and I work with so many, that could be why maybe I don't jive with this. Oh, I love it. Um, I think if I do start doing pick a cards, like pick a card readings, these are going to be great for that. But I think it's just it has more to do with me as a reader versus others. And since I mostly read for myself, I do read for others, but since I mostly read for myself, it doesn't necessarily jive with me too much. But that's okay too, because like I said, I have a ton of other ones that work very well. The next one is a bit of a hefty one, and that is the Tea Leaf Fortune cards. These are super, super cool. I love using these as yearly readings, either monthly readings or yearly readings. I don't like to do weekly ones because I just feel like there's just so much. When these are for me, they work best when you're doing a larger reading. Oop, I didn't mean to hit the camera. Sorry about that. So they're broken up by you can do like center readings of like specific things. So you can lay these out like wealth, success, marriage, and everything, and then pull cards for each of those things. And then this is how I do it. These are the months. So I do 12 out, and I'll pull it's a big thing, but you pull for each week of the month. There's a lot of cards. The imagery, it's not really my style, but the cards alone just are too accurate for me to just let me feeling a little bit indifferent towards the imagery let it get in the way. I mean, these are too accurate. And this has turned skeptics. I've used this deck to turn skeptics into believers, which is crazy because I didn't think that that would ever be possible for the people that I've proven. I didn't think it would be possible. That's why I love these, but they are it is a lot to get into. But also, I mean, like okay, yeah. I was you have to split them up to make it easier to pull a card because this is the whole kit and caboodle right here. And it is tough to go through. But like I said, yearly readings, these are the jam. So that's those. I don't have much to say about these. I'm sorry. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This next one is super cute too. This is the Everyday Witches Familiar Oracle. This one is if I'm really down, this is the little pick me up that I need. These are super cute. They're split up by element. So there's obviously the earth, air, wind, fire, and then there's also spirit as another one. And see, unicorn is in spirit. These are so pretty. Like, look at the back. Isn't that? I mean, it's so cute. These are so sweet. They're very positive cards. Just to give you an example, I'm going to close my eyes and just flip to a page. Honeybee. We all have limited amounts of energy to dedicate to our daily tasks. Are you putting your efforts into the right place, or are you spending too much time allowing small things to distract you from the work that needs to be accomplished? Maybe you're working on the wrong thing or not giving it your all. This card suggests you might want to take a look at all the things that affect your productivity. If you're not happy with it, figure out what you can change to be more effective and efficient. And these are super sweet. They're super positive, and that's exactly what I need sometimes. Oh my god. And I can't get over how beautiful the cards are too. I mean, the artist really hit it on the head with this like mystical sort of vibe to it. But yeah, these are great. I love these, and they're easy to shuffle. They're really fun. These work really, really well for other people too. If you're reading it for other people, these work super great for that too. The next one is the Seed and Sickle Oracle deck. And this is one of my favorite Oracle decks of all time. Not only is the art honestly some of the most beautiful artwork that I've ever seen, but this is also the deck that I like to use to contact my past loved ones and my ancestors. And of course, there's the poppy for grief. I love the layout of these cards. They're separated by season. The cardstock is really thick, so if you're a bit of a rough shuffler, you may run into some issues, but I've gone past it because when they're a bit thicker, it's a bit harder for them to separate when you're going like this. So, like, more in chunks they'll come out, but that's okay. I can look past that considering these are just. I'm honestly speechless when it comes to this deck specifically, just because of how amazing it's been working with it. I even think it's a unique way that the creator did two guidebooks for it. So the Dawn guidebook is more for goal oriented readings. So if you need more guidance on that kind of thing, the Dawn guidebook is the way to go. And if you are doing a reading for more of an emotional matter or a mental matter, the Dusk guidebook is going to be your thing. Another thing that I just admire so much about this deck is the amount of folklore and myth that goes into these cards. Um, it is universal myth and folklore, so it is from all corners of the world, different meanings for these cards. And I think that that is the biggest reason I use it for ancestry readings, because it really does pull from all different parts of the world. And obviously, since I even stated earlier about loving even the Arthurian lore and everything, I'm a lore lover. So I really just I love this deck. It's been with me through two passings, so it has a very soft spot for him, or I have a very soft spot for it. But I can't this if there is one deck that I could recommend in my collection to anybody, it's this deck. Out of the oracles, it's the Seed and Sickle. I'm not even done going through my oracles, and I'm recommending this one. Seed and Sickle and the Orion's Animal Tarot. Those are the two that I would recommend to anybody in general. For like very specific, more niche ones, then obviously I have other ones that I'd recommend. But for in general, this oracle deck. All right, so the next one is actually by the same person that did the Seed and Sickle. This is the Citadel Fantasy Oracle, and I love this one almost as much as I love the Seed and Sickle one. So the reason why I love this one is because, once again, I'm going back to I love fantasy. Who doesn't? But if you've ever read who hasn't? If you've ever read the Sarah J. Maas universe, this is very Throne of Glass, if you will. So you can also use this deck as an RPG, like an RPG archetype builder, which is super cool in and of itself. And there's so much creative writing that goes into the meanings of these cards. I'll pull like a sample one to show you and give you an example, but the only thing I'm not a fan of is the shape of the cards. I love the shape of the cards, but for shuffling purposes, this is rough, man. So let's just get into it. This artist is so incredibly talented. I can't I can't sing their praises enough, honestly. And I went on their website also, and they also sell prints and stuff. So I'm gonna be getting some from my gallery wall. Spy Master is one of my absolute favorite cards in the deck just because of the imagery. But I love the gold, and then there's bits of burgundy in it also, and I love doing this more for. This is a deck that I like to pull out when it comes to what do I need to bring into my awareness? What do I need to be aware of? And it'll check me. Oh, this one is gorgeous too. So I'm just gonna, there we go. Thank you. The Musician. So inspiration and gratitude. So it's set up in court cards. So these are all the courts. They're split up by the alchemy symbols. So the Musician is, all right, 132. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Okay, cool. So it tells you a little bit about the story. It sets the scene, and then it talks about how pulling the musician would mean for you. And then you also get a reversal. And I love that so much. I think it's a really creative, I mean, with the Seed and Sickle having two guidebooks to give you more of a broader reading, and then in this you get reversals, you get a story, and you get a meaning. I mean, I I hope they make another deck soon because I will be getting it if they do. Okay, let's move on to the next. Okay, we're nearing down to some of my favorites now, so I'm just gonna pull a random one because I can't decide which one I want to pull first. Let's do this one. Okay, so this is the Prism Oracle. Such a great weekly pull and daily pull type of deck. It's split up. It's so cutesy and colorful. We got a holographic gold edge. Look at how shiny that is. You get one word and you get a color. in a pattern, and that's it. What do I need to bring into today? Or what do I need to let go of today? Anxiety. What do I need to bring in? Growth. Um, what is something that my shadow self is trying to remind me of? Hunger. Rest. You know what I mean? These are so cool. I love these for that specific reason. And they're also great clarifiers too. If you're running into a reading and you're kind of unsure of what kind of energy the reading's kind of embodying, pulling one of these lets you know just like that. That was a terrible snap. Just like that. There we go. And I just love that it brings a little bit more color into the reading as well. And even the spreads in here are so cool. You got the general check-in, but the one that is my favorite that I often use actually is the aura reading. It's just the energy that's leaving, the current energy, and energy that is coming in. I love doing that one with this deck. That's my favorite reading to do. I just love that there's a simplicity to them that kind of sometimes I crave when it comes to, because sometimes, and I know that a lot of readers may relate to this, we all live pretty normal lives. We go to work, we eat, we sleep, we have heartbreak, we mourn, we get sad, we get hungry, you know what I mean? So we have normal days where nothing significant happens, and we just want something that is going to tell us, maybe we will get that raise, or maybe we will have a smaller shipment that day or something like that. And I appreciate that. This is kind of what it does. And the guidebook itself too, it's a very small blurb of what the card means. It's not some super long drawn out thing. It's just that. So I really do like this. Let's move on to the last four that I'm literally so excited to show you. Okay, this is the big one. I literally can't even wait. The Demon Tarot. So I know that it says tarot, and I did tarot in the beginning of the video. However, this is definitely an oracle. So hold on, let me open it up. It's a bit trickier. Okay, there we go. You get an encyclopedia, basically. This Ariana Osborne, what a genius. A actual genius. So I know if I know what you're thinking. Oh my god. Those are worrisome. Those are terrible. Those are scary. Those are odd. Those are, and then if you're like me, you're like, wow, those are awesome. Those are great. So this is a soul deck for me, which I didn't expect at all. This is the most honest deck that I have ever had in my entire life, Oracle wise. I mentioned previously my most honest tarot deck. This is my most honest Oracle deck. And it really is very honest. I mean, honest to the point where it'll punch you in the face. And it kind of deconstructs the the Catholicism and the Christianity views of demons. I mean, this is literally Kali. These are all entities from different religions, cultures, and folklore. These aren't demons. Like, these aren't demons from the Bible or anything like that. Um, and I absolutely love it. I really do. And the creator of this deck did so much extensive research into the myth, the lore, where they come from, where they are in the Infernal Dictionary. Um, it's the original artwork. There's and then it goes into it's the annotation, the inspiration, and the divination. So what the card means, and I I just I've made so many people less afraid of the darker side of things with this deck, purely because this has such a friendly energy to it. Like, I believe this is a Sumerian god. Like, he's a sun god. You know what I mean? Like, a white man took entities and gods and goddesses and beings from other cultures and deemed them evil purely because they weren't part of his god, you know? And that's why I think I really love this deck, because it brings light through the darkness versus anything else. I love it so much. There's so much history in it. It's so rich with history. So I was most excited to show you this one just because I love it so much. The only thing I don't love is I hate this split deck kind of thing. That's okay. Oh, I've chatted about this for 4 minutes. Oh my goodness. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this next one has a lot of the same beings in the previous deck. This is the Fallen Angel Oracle deck. Not a big fan of this packaging either. These are not usually something I would go and gravitate towards. However, the fact that they are a lot of the same beings was one of the reasons. And I absolutely do actually like this more collage cemetery statue angel kind of vibe. It's kind of spooky, and it's exactly what I kind of want to incorporate more into my practice actually. The only reason why I said it's not really too much of my vibe anymore is because it's the fallen angel, you know what I mean? But I think it's super cool. My biggest complaint is that this, other than the packaging, is these cards shuffle horribly. And the guidebook is a little bit lackluster. It definitely, so it gives you an element, it gives you a planet, it gives you the message, and then it gives a little excerpt. But a lot of the cards have the same words on them. So like honesty is on there a ton of times for a ton of different cards. What's another one that's usually there's like I think there's like two that say danger, two that say upheaval, um, three that say transformation. So I feel like it's a little lackluster in that sense, but I haven't gotten to play with it too much. So this may end up being another one of my absolute favorites, which I'm excited for. But here, let me just show you really quick how it shuffles as well, in case you're interested in maybe getting it. No, it's a bit large, so yeah, they kind of clump together, unfortunately. But that is the Fallen Angel Oracle deck. Okay, so this one is the Mausolea Oracle of Souls. And a funny story about this deck is my husband picked it out for me, actually. So he collects Magic the Gathering cards. He plays it like multiple times a week with his friends. He's been playing and collecting for I don't even know how long, probably since he was maybe like 16, 15, 16. So well over 10 years, more than that actually. So he picked this one out for me because he said that this gives Magic the Gathering vibes. And what was funny was I looked at it and I'm like, this is awesome. I am going to get this, just not yet. So I finally took the plunge and I bought it the other day. And wow, this is awesome. So there's 6 domains, and each of the characters or gods or goddesses are split up into the domains. So kind of like how there's different colors in Magic the Gathering, these symbolize all the different domains. These right here and these right here. And then this just reminds me of the color black symbol. in Magic the Gathering. So let's just go through some of the cards. They really do look like Magic the Gathering cards, imagery wise. And even like the names, like the Red Shepherd, the Radiant Lord, like these are definitely very like sci-fi fantasy based. I like that there is real gods and goddesses and entities in here as well. So we have Set, which is an Egyptian god. We have Danu, which is a Celtic goddess. Abaddon, which is, I believe, a demon. I could be wrong. We have Osiris, obviously, who is an Egyptian god. Thanatos, which is the god of death, like the Greek god of death. The Morrigan, which is the goddess of war. We have Arthur and Morgan Le Fay. We have Nyx, which is the goddess of night, the Greek goddess of night. Anubis. We have Hades. So I think it's super cool that there are real deities in here, as well as some ones that definitely give the vibe of other ones. The backs are super cool. And it is a low Scarabo deck, so it has multiple languages in it. But it gives you, you know, the different domains, and then it talks about each of them and then what they do in the domain and what they represent. And then the card obviously has 3 words that kind of encapsulate it as well. So this is super cool. If there's any Magic the Gathering lovers out there, I have news for you. You'll probably love this deck. So let me move on to the last one, and then I have some miscellaneous stuff to show, and then I'll wrap it up. I have drawn on for too long. Okay, so the last Oracle deck is the Oracle of Celestial Deities. I just got this, so I haven't been able to play with it too much, but I already plan on getting the Oracle of Mythical Heroes by the same creator, because I absolutely love what he did in this deck. So you get a pretty hefty guidebook, and you get 20 cards in this one. I believe in the Mythical Heroes one, you get a little bit more. I can't get that last one out. Oh no. There we go. Who was stuck? Athena was stuck. Okay. So you get a few words. So you get 2 words and then a wish. So a wish to I think the artwork is honestly super awesome, and I like that he incorporated the Roman and Greek mythology into the cards as well. Just go through it a little bit. Persephone. Hades. So in the guidebook is super awesome too, because you get a map of the planets and the comets that are also named after everybody, through mythology. And you get zodiac signs that are associated with the said deity. You get a crystal. You get the lore. You get the teaching. And you get, if you pull this card, what it could mean in your career or your love. And I think that this thing is stacked full of stuff. So that's why, while there's only 20 cards, the guidebook itself makes up for that for sure. So I can't wait to play with these more. I'm super excited, and I'm very excited to also get the other deck and just sandwich them together. Okay, so this one, while it is technically an Oracle deck, it's also a runic deck. So I do have a set of runes. However, I thought it would be awesome to also get these, considering that not only do they fit my aesthetic, but it's another way to read runes. And I thought, why not? And these are super cool. I love that in the guidebook it explains a little bit about which et it's in, and it also explains why the animal was picked for that. And it tells you how to incorporate the rune into your everyday life to get the most out of it, which I also really love. I love that this has Odin's eye in it. I think that that's super cool. So I wanted to put this in more miscellaneous since while this is technically an oracle, it's also a rune deck. So I felt like it's a bit of its own thing. I love that one. I love the imagery, and the animals really do fit the specific runes and everything. The only thing I will say is I feel like for what it is, I wish there was a little bit more about the runes since there's so much that goes into them. But I do appreciate that you can do the magical workings. I do appreciate that that was incorporated in it. And there is spreads in it also, so you are getting quite a lot. So that is that one. The next thing is the Mystical Lenormand. I just recently started getting into Lenormand reading, and I'm blown away. I cannot believe that I have stayed away from Lenormand so much. Like, this is a part of cartomancy that I have never gotten into, and I kind of avoided it, to be honest with you, because it seemed more intimidating than tarot, honestly. But this is amazing. So, I believe this book is out of print now, unfortunately. I got it on a set on eBay. I got the deck and the book together. The reason why I wanted the book was because I wanted hefty, that you get combinations, you get um, spreads, you get extensive meanings of the cards and what the timing of the cards could be. It's like all you need. And the cards themselves are so medieval looking. And the artist actually used an old way of painting. He used egg tempera to do the colors. So all of it is from nature. And I'm so sad that I stayed away from this type of cartomancy for so long purely because I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was wondering if I'd ever be able to understand it. But once you dip your toe into it, it's so fun. It's so accurate. It's fresh. It's something different to do. It's so fun. I love doing it, and um, it really does make you use your noggin, though. So that's something I've definitely noticed as well as you're not spoon fed everything as much as you wish you could be, um, and you just kind of Lenormand. I'm noticing it's a lot of intuition, which is okay because you definitely have to exercise that quite often. But I love it. I can't recommend it enough. Pick up a Lenormand deck literally today. I'm just popping on here post edit to thank anybody and everybody that stuck around to the very end. I wasn't kidding when I said that my corner of the internet is very small in the beginning of the video. It's slim to none, honestly. I'm usually a pretty private person, so the idea of not only talking to a camera but also putting myself out there in any sort of way, it's not only intimidating but also uh, it's a bit nerve wracking, to be honest with you. But I just want to say again, whoever decided that they didn't mind sticking around, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to me. Um, and I hope that wherever you are in your day, that something great finds you. And I do plan on doing pick a card readings whenever my work schedule kind of calms down a little bit. I have all my prompts written up and everything, so I'm ready to go whenever I can. So if you do want to stick around for that also, that's going to be coming soon. So again, thank you so much. I hope you have a great whenever, wherever.